man, what can I say about Missy Misdemeanor Elliott, man? I could say a lot. Missy Elliott changed the game because she was different. She wasn't like none of these other female rappers, you know, because obviously Lil' Kim was a trendsetter and brought, you know, her own style to the game. Missy said, I'm gonna take it, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna be creative. I'm gonna make some of the wildest music videos ever. And I'm gonna just say any goddamn thing on record and not give a fuck about what nobody got to say about it. And, you know, she put on for the big girls too. You know, she like, I'm a little heavy set, I'm a little chubby, but guess what? I'm still nice. And Missy Elliott started off as a writer, writing songs for R&B artists. And Missy Elliott was always around. And, you know, she was in the crew called the Swing Mob that was spearheaded by Devontae Swing. And then, after she left the Swing Mob, she started writing for Aaliyah. And then before you know it, Missy Elliott got put on, got the record deal, and she released her debut single, The Rain, Super Duper Fly, in 1997. And man, that was coming out of every car in 1997. Then she released the classic album, Super Duper Fly. That album was insane. Then she released Sock It To Me with Da Brat, because what made Missy stand out is she could rap, sing, produce, and write. Ain't nobody wrote a goddamn thing for Missy. Not a motherfucking thing. Then she released her single, Beat Me 911, in 1998. Then she released Hit Me With The Heat with Lil' Kim. Then in 1999, she released her second album, The Real World, with her single, She's a Bitch. And then, All In My Grill with my nigga Big Boy from Outkast, classic verse. Then she released Hot Boys. And then the remix with Nas, Eve, and Q-Tip. And The Real World has some crazy music videos, some dope collabs, like Bust a Rhyme with Eminem. And then my personal favorite, the joint with BG and Juvenile, You Can't Resist. Yeah, man, that album, The Real World, I don't know, man. It's probably a debatable classic. I'm not going to say it's an outright one. But then, in 2001, I would say, yeah, it's a classic for sure, now that I think about it. In 2001, this is when Missy stepped it up another level. She released her third album, which I also think is a classic, called Missy So Addicted, where she released the classic song, Get Your Freak On, which I think got her a Grammy. Yep, she won a Grammy off that. Then, you know, she released Lick Shots, and then 1 Minute Man with a classic Jay-Z verse. That would lead to other things later on for the boy Young Hov. If you know, you know. Then she released Takeaway and For My People. Then for her next album, Under Construction, which is probably my favorite Missy album, she released Work It. And then she flipped it and reversed it. And then her next single was another hit that was out of the park, called Gossip Folks with Ludacris, where she sampled the Double Dutch Bus. And then, not to mention, I can't forget about her and Timbaland being the dynamic duo, like Da Brat and Jermaine Dupri, like Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. Their chemistry was a major part of Missy Elliott's career. Then for her next album, This Is Not a Test, she released the single Pass That Dutch and I'm Really Hot. Those were big songs, especially I'm Really Hot. Then for her next album, she would release one of her biggest hits with Sierra called Lose Control and Fat Man Scoop, rest in peace. Then she released We Run This in 2006. And then, you know, she had to take a hiatus away from music because she was diagnosed with Graves' disease. You know, that's some rough shit. You know, you got to salute her for overcoming that. You know, she dropped a lot of weight as well as a result of the disease. You know, she tried to make multiple comebacks, but, you know, to no avail. But that doesn't take away from the run that she had from 1997 all the way to 2007. Missy Elliott is number 2 because she's a quadruple threat. Not many females on this list can sing at a high level, can rap at a high level, can write at a high level, and produce at a high level. Y'all don't want to get into the songs that she wrote. You know, because we can get down that lane too. All right, we can do this. All right, 1997, she wrote Stilo for 702. Then, of course, we know that she wrote a majority of the songs on Aaliyah's album 1 in a Million. I'm only picking the most notable. I'm not going to say everything, but the main shit. She arranged the vocals on It's All About the Benjamins. She put the Benjamins together. She was doing a lot for Bad Boy. Then she wrote on the classic Total album, Kima, Keisha, and Pam. She wrote the singles Trippin'. My favorite one she wrote was Move Too Fast. Then she wrote for Whitney Houston on In My Business and Oh Yes. Then she came back with 702 in 1999 to write Where My Girl's At. She ended up writing Can't Go For That for Tamia. And then, of course, she wrote Are You Feeling Me for Aaliyah. And then she wrote I Care For You. She ended up writing Call Me for Tweet. Then she wrote the classic song So Gone and Knock Knock for Monica. And then she wrote My Love Is Like Woe for Maya. Then she wrote 1-2 Step for Sierra and appeared on the song. You know, and then everything that she wrote, she produced on. Everything I said, she produced. She teamed back up with Monica in 2006 to write A Dozen Roses. Then, of course, she wrote and produced Just Like You. For Let It Go for Keisha Cole. She wrote Need You Bad for Jasmine Sullivan. Yeah, Missy pen is relentless. This is why I ranked her so high. Skill-wise, she can hang. She could, she might be a better lyricist than a lot of these females on this list as well, too. So, salute to Missy.